Now, I'm going to ask you, Allyson, I guess, why do you feel majority of the people, like just like regular people, not musicians, gravitate towards the club versus the show? Just...
I mean, a club is going to play, you know, top 40 type stuff that's currently on the radio. And it's not really, I mean, you go to a club and you're dancing and there is music, but that's not the focus of a club. The focus there is the drinking and the meeting people and the social aspect of it, which are all at a show, but it's centered around the show, the concert, the people that are playing. So you already have to have an interest in what you're going to see for a show.
Definitely want to point out you said top 40 music too. So this is another problem, but it's top 40 music. So many people hate on it especially that are artists, and I see from day to day. But at the end of the day, like the people that will go out, and the whole reason a lot of people go out and see major acts and they gravitate towards certain sound and stuff like pop music, etc., is because whatever the top 40 is harnessing is also causing people to come out and witness this. Whatever is hot right now. So that's something to take in consideration. Like if you're in like a psychedelic, we only use trash can lids for instruments type band, then and you're wondering why not that many people, you know, come out to your shows, you might have to reevaluate. And I think another thing too to stress about this scene and with a lot of the artists is, personally, I feel a lot of people don't know exactly where they want to go with their music. Like, I mean, feel free, like, if you know, feel I'm wrong or anything, but but personally, from what I can just tell, a lot of people don't know if they're just doing it for fun, if they actually want to make it, and then if they want to make it, like, the question is, what do they define as making it? Is making it being an independent and doing it your own way and making money going that way? Is making it being on an indie label, or is making it be on a major label? And personally, I feel if people started to define exactly where they want it to be, and then they're gonna have to start studying that level of music, because a lot of people tend to, they want to make their own style, and it's like, all right, I dig that because that's what I do too. But if you want to, let's say if you want to be on a major level, then you have to incorporate major sounding music. So that's one thing. And I don't know how many artists you come across, because I know you've been busy with school and and doing all that. But yeah, at least personally for me, just talking with people, I tend to get that vibe from people.
I don't know though if that's necessarily a bad thing that people don't know where they're going with their music. I mean, I see how that would contribute to the disorganized music scene, because people are competing for spots for shows because there are so many bands, but you know, they don't necessarily know what level they should be playing at, and like everyone wants to play at the Canal Club, but maybe, you know, half the people that want to play there aren't to the level of playing at the Canal Club, but they're still fighting for those spots, and it just becomes this, you know, negative vibe because everybody's vying for spots, but not necessarily on the same level. But I don't know how to necessarily solve that, because, you know, you're not gonna be like, you know what, I think I would like to be on a major record label today. You know, people don't necessarily start that way. Yeah, okay. Well, and the people that start thinking that way, they often get there. You know, like those people that start off with intentions of I'm gonna make it to this point, they will get there. But I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with not knowing where you're going and just sort of feeling out the music scene.
Yeah.
Other than adding to the chaos that it already is.
I don't know, I tend to be, I'm always like, I'm hardcore with my music stuff. I'm just like, well, if you're going to do it, you could do 120%.
Yeah.
If you're going, you go for the goal. But no, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm difficult, ladies and gentlemen. So if I can be real, like ask any of my friends you come across whenever late Sheb gets here. He can tell you I'm like that. The Army general guy. 50 push-ups. Like. But yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. Also, another problem with the Richmond music scene, or just possibly everywhere this might be a problem too, is when people get together. I'm glad that you guys got together and everyone knew how to play their instrument and you could sing, versus like back in the day, I've heard some people, God bless them for trying, but but if your drummer's off and your guitarist is drunk and your singer sounds like a screech owl, like you might need to rethink your plan and maybe maybe take up something else like finger painting. I don't know,
basket weaving.
But yeah, no, that's a great thing. Essentially, being prepared is a cool thing. It's cool and it's great and it saves headache. And if you're a band, it probably saves you a lot of frustration too. Like personally, back in the day, I was in a rock band and we were supposed to do a talent show. And I was like, all right, we're supposed to do this talent show. My friend's band, who was obviously way better than us, didn't make the cut, but for the fact that the theater teacher knew me or whatever, I'm not gonna say his name, but
I think I know who you're talking about.
he let my band in, it was cool. But when it came down to it, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. My other band members were mad, but I was like, we suck.
It's not fair.
I wasn't afraid of, I was like, it's either me admit that we suck and I tell this and I say I'm not going on stage, or it was either that or embarrass myself. Yeah, like don't embarrass yourself. Like don't like save yourself the headache. To, like take one for the team almost, because a lot of musicians, I feel, they have like, or at least in certain cases or whatever, they have big ego. Confidence is good, but egos and pride are bad. So that, and that's something to take in mind.
Well, I feel musicians are so attached to their music that a lot of times they can't see past that to admit the things that are wrong with it.
Agreed.
But if there was better communication within the scene, there might be a better outlet for, figuring that out. If you had a group of similar musicians that are like, hey man, you need to like maybe work on this one thing a little bit more. So that's, Richmond musicians would be a good.
Yeah, apparently I have to be a dirtbag, you guys. I gotta tell you guys if you suck or not. But but technically, all right, if I do gotta criticize someone, hopefully they won't try to assassinate me like afterwards. But it'll be to help if that's the case. If it comes down to it. But in general, there's a couple of things. If you're in a band, go see other bands, like indie bands and major bands. Like just go see a major band or something. I know a lot of people knock Linkin Park around here, even though they mix rock and rap, but if you see one of their live shows, like amazing. So, and people have to learn from that and listen to the actual mechanics of like the songs. Like that's one thing. If you're in a group, go check out some other groups that are doing really well. And
even if it's not the same type of music that you play.
That too, yeah, because you can learn a lot from other genres too. So, which is something that's very interesting. So that's definitely that's one thing. And then two, what I picked up from being in school, when you, and just from like other information and stuff, if you're an artist or you're a producer or whatever, have your stuff go through other bands that have an honest opinion. Someone that I feel is either a producer, an engineer, or someone that writes the music, so they can just be like, well, if it were me, I might do something like this or whatever. You know, hopefully it's good criticism, because if it's good, it'll be like, all right, I see what you're doing, but this might need to change. So that's another thing. Run your music through other musicians before putting it out there, or at least as I feel, because a lot of people, they just know, all right, yeah, we recorded it, and they don't realize that someone's puking in the background and it just made the sound horrible, and then they put it out there and they wonder why it gets no responses. Another thing to take, because this is what I happen to learn. I talked to some A&R people from various labels, like things like Epic Records, Sire Records, and I've chatted with A&R guy from Tooth and Nail Records. And some of them I had submitted my stuff. I don't make stuff for Tooth and Nail Records, so I was just talking to him about stuff. But like Sire Records and everything, submitted my stuff, got honest feedback from A&Rs. Like, you can do that in a lot of cases. Like, you just gotta find it, and you can find the tools and everything. Which down the road, I'll try and help you guys out with that. But they will be like, nope, not what we're looking for, not the sound. And if you come across a real, you know, good A&R guy, he will actually tell you, this is why we're not picking it. And you need to go fix that. Get that shit out of my face. Like, which I've had that happen to me multiple times. So it's like, that's why now the project, well, you heard it, Allyson. They can't hear it yet. Not loud. But yeah, so it's like, now it's taking your time writing your music and making sure everything's right. A great recording will all playing a factor at saving you from a big headache at the end of the day.
As a vocalist, I mean, I took voice lessons and I studied theory and I played piano as well. And all of those things, I think definitely they helped me to know what type of songs, what type of music I should be singing, what I need to stay away from, you know, what I just don't sound good doing. And that's true with any instrument, guitarist, drummer, whatever. You have to know your strengths. You have to find your niche, I guess, like what you sound best doing, and you need to make it the best that it can be.
No, that's.
I mean, I think it's definitely more noticeable with vocals. You know, vocalists. A lot of singers want to sing these great big songs, but don't necessarily have the right voice for it,
or the range for that matter too.
Right, and you can't force it. It just doesn't sound good.
Very important. Hope you guys are taking notes. All right. So for right now, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a break, and when we return, we're gonna go into some other things, like details on what Richmond Musicians has up its sleeve.